thank you for being here. I'm Pierre-Janin Potiron, and this afternoon I will be your guide through the life of the I/O Bench loops. So an I/O Bench that is hosted at LAM and in the quest of the ultimate wavefront sensor. So I will tell you a little bit story. So first, let's start with the genesis of the loops bench. As you can see, it will mostly talk about pyramids and the Fourier-based wavefront sensor, as you can guess with these pictures. So first, the goals of this I/O bench is to provide a well-characterized research and development bench for adaptive optics. So with three principal metrics, so two principal metrics, so the Strehl ratio to assess the wellness of the correction, the wavefront error measurement for the wellness of the correction as well, and be able to control the turbulence that we put in the path of the light. And we want this well-developed bench and controlled bench to propose some innovative ways to operate the pyramids and the Fourier-based wavefront sensor. And for example, studying the gain tracking or different reconstructors. And propose as well some new masks. So for example, the three-phase pyramid, another kind of pyramid that is the flattened pyramid that has been proposed by Olivier Fauvarc earlier, and some other masks. This one is proposed as well by Olivier. He has so much imagination, so the iQuad, ingot wavefront sensor, and why not the Axicon, for example. And we want to do this to improve the capabilities of the Fourier-based wavefront sensor, so in terms of dynamic sensitivity, linearity, to make it stronger, but I'll come back on this later. So the loops bench, here is the hand draw scheme of the bench. I'll go quick on this one, but so we have a laser source at 660 nanometer, a phase screen, rotative phase screen that reproduce the turbulence effect on the wavefront. Then a DM, so a 10 by 10 Alpao DM deformable mirror, tip tilt mirror to produce the modulation, a focal plane camera to have a science image and measure the Strehl ratio, Shach-Hartmann wavefront sensor with 32 sub-aperture to measure the wavefront error in the pupil plane, another focal plane camera that we call the modulation camera. Vincent will talk about this later in the afternoon. And the most important thing we had, so this was the bench like it was like 6 months ago. And we had so a special light modulator to produce any kind of phase filtering in the focal plane. So this SLM is put in the focal plane, and then we have here the OCAM camera in the pupil plane to make the wavefront sensing in the pupil, and sampled with 80 pixels. So that you can represent yourself how the bench looks like. So this is a picture of the bench, and you will see it in action. So the fiber is here, turbulence phase screen here that reproduce the atmospheric turbulence. The deformable mirror is located here. Then we go onto the Shach-Hartmann. We have the measurement here. The focal plane camera, the tip tilt mirror for the modulation is here. The modulation camera here, so sees the modulation from the tip tilt mirror. The SLM can produce different shape of phase mask. And then we have the OCAM camera that reimage the pupil and make the wavefront sensing measurement. And all of this is controlled with OMAO. So at the time, we are able to close the loop at 300 Hertz on the rotating phase screen. So at 300 Hertz at the time, but it was a really big turbulence, so small R naught, but I'll come back on that later as well. So now let's take a look at what the almighty loops can do in action. So this is what the bench looks like. So this images comes from the paper that was published this year. So the first thing we tried is to give a shape to the SLM in focal plane, so to reproduce Here, so you see the four-phase pyramid, three-phase pyramid. This is an hexagon. This is the flattened pyramid, so a four-phase pyramid where you lower the angle at the apex of the pyramid. And these are the same free mask, but with a modulation at 5 lambda over d. And then we try to calibrate this system by pushing and pulling on the DM Zernike modes. So here you have an example for 4 masks, what the calibration looks like. Actually, it's quite convincing when you take a look at these images, and you clearly see that the calibration is if you would to be simulating this thing, you would see more or less exactly the same thing. And finally, so what we wanted to do is to test the bench, to validate the bench in a closed loop operation by measuring the wavefront error versus time, and to compare it, to compare the result we have on the bench to the result we have in simulation with the same parameter for the turbulence profile and size of R0. And actually, you can see that so the blue curves are from the bench, the red from the simulation, and actually it matches quite well in open loop and in closed loop. And here you have the translation of like a long exposure in closed loop in terms of standard deviation reported to with regard to the Zernike modes. So actually, this is the standard deviation of each Zernike modes, and we can retrieve here the zone of the controlled modes. We controlled 55 modes at the time. So when we arrived with this result, we are like pretty convinced that the bench is working as it should. And finally, the most exciting thing that we have done so far on the bench, so it's to close the loop on this. As you could see, maybe the video will restart, the turbulence was quite strong, so we modulated at 5 lambda over d, and we actually closed the loop with all these four masks, so 3, 4, 5 phase and an hexagon. So it was like a really good result that is not in the paper, but you can see it now. And after this first battle, it was time for the loops bench to evolve. So now we have the loops version 2.0. And what it means that we have a new SLM, second one. So we put a second SLM in the pupil plane this time. And we did that to, it's not working. Okay. Yeah. The force is with me. So yeah, we put this SLM that I call like the first SLM in the pupil plane to be able to reproduce any kind of turbulence, so with the varying R0, varying PSD, and mimic as well the action of a deformable mirror on the same device. So introduce the turbulence and correct for the turbulence on the same device. And it also, so we have 320 pixels in the pupil, so it means like we have a really high frequency of correction. So with this newcomer, with this new SLM, it was no time to go more into details in the study of the Fourier-based wavefront sensor. And I'll show you, or the professor will show you, the curves that can be observed, so the response curve that can be observed for different wavefront sensors. And he will give you 3 quantities that we want to compare the wavefront sensor with. So the first one is the dynamic. So it means how far can the sensor reach in terms of amplitude of aberration. So it's represented here with these yellow arrows. The linearity, so it means how linear is your sensor. So how close is it to behave linearly, so close to these green lines. And the last one is the sensitivity, so it's more or less related. So all these three quantities are untangled. The linearity and sensitivity can be seen to be the same, but the sensitivity is a measurement of how accurate will be your measurement. And in terms, so if you are in low flux regime, how well your sensor will perform. So it will be, whoa, already? Okay. So we measure the sensitivity, measuring the transfer function. So we showed we applied on the first SLM, so Fourier modes, then built the transfer function by taking the interaction matrix and taking the diagonal of D transpose D, the square root, and obtain this kind of shape. So these are the sensitivity for all the named mask here, so the four-phase pyramid. You have, and here is the cut of these images at 45 degrees. And what we observe, and this particularly interesting, is for the two flattened pyramid, we have oscillations, as you can see on this graph as well. And this is quite intriguing, and Olivier will talk about this tomorrow and will explain why we see this oscillation. In terms of dynamic, we compared as well the sensor by making the system converge for 10 random realization of turbulence. And what we can see, so it's a basis of comparison. So you have the four-phase pyramid and three-phase pyramid here that behaves more or less the same. And you find that, for example, the Zernick wavefront sensor is a really bad sensor in terms of dynamic. It means that it cannot measure really high amplitude wavefront error. And this mean of comparison, we don't really know if it's still valid if you take into account the optical gains. And there will be a talk of Vincent on that point after in the afternoon. And maybe I'll skip this one. So if you have question on the dynamic, this is a second method to measure the dynamic or to estimate the dynamic of the wavefront sensor. And finally, we have some other quests. So the bench is open to everyone who wants to test something on the bench, who has an idea of like a new wavefront sensor, something like revolutionary. Here is the closed loop with the flattened pyramid. So this is the phase in the pupil plane. This is the Occam image in the pupil plane. And these are the Fourier transform of the phase we applied on the pupil. So these are not real images, but simulated images. So we see basically that we are able to close the loop with the flattened pyramid. We are also trying to reproduce phase and amplitude aberration in the pupil plane. So with only one SLM to reproduce, so to write things in the pupil, why not? And to reproduce central obstruction and spiders to see the impact of island effect. And actually, so this work has been done with Mojtaba Taheri, and we were able as well to close the loop with spiders in the pupil plane with a really large R naught, but it's still a work we are investigating. And finally, so I'll go quick on this one because there will be a talk by Simone Di Filippo for the test of the ingot wavefront sensor. So we have also able to reproduce elongated spots with the modulation mirror, as you can see here, and we close the loop as well, generating the turbulence with the DM itself at the time. So now we have SLM in the pupil plane, and we will have more degree of freedom to play, to introduce the aberration we want, and then compare with the simulation. And I think that's done. There will still be a lot of questions, I'm sure, but we have the bench to answer. So if you have I don't know project, feel free to come and use the bench. Thank you.